more like personally, how are you?
Yeah, so I'm doing good. Very busy, especially tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm very excited tomorrow, but also tomorrow's gonna be a crazy day. So, I am. So tomorrow, is the restock. So everything's gonna be back in stock tomorrow. Also tomorrow, I have a new candle coming out. So Tricks is coming out tomorrow.
Woo!
Also tomorrow I have a delivery coming, which now when I order supplies, I order so much that like it doesn't fit on a mail truck. So now these like big tractor trailers come and like they drop pallets off and all that stuff. So that's happening tomorrow. Like now deliveries are a whole event. And then I also am moving into my first apartment tomorrow. And so yeah, so tomorrow is like a jam packed day, and then the cherry on top of all that is, and it partially because it's such a busy day. So one of the things that I am working on is pitching a reality TV show idea to Netflix. So yeah, so I met a guy and he knows the girl who is the assistant to the lady who overlooks all pitches for non-script films or reality on Netflix. So he called her, asked her, "Hey, I have a kid. He's like really big on TikTok now. He wants to have his own show. What do you guys look for?" And so she gave him some tips. He told me what to do. So one of the things I have to do is give them a reel. So it basically be like a trailer of your show, and then if they like the trailer, then giving them the first episode, like what it would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so my intern is going to be following me around with the camera all day tomorrow. So yeah, tomorrow is like I'm probably by the end of the day tomorrow I'm probably going to be dead, but but yeah, it's going and it's all good. It's very exciting.
Yeah, like just a little bit, just a tad. I'm kind of speechless, to be honest. Like, I've always known you're gonna do incredible things and do them simultaneously, and so you're like,
Yeah.
tomorrow I'm like doing all of them. I'm doing all of them at once.
Yeah, it just so happens that tomorrow everything. Yeah, so
Okay,
yeah.
where are you moving though?
To Town Center. So there's a so the premiere in Town Center is one of the like apartments in Town Center.
Yes, I
Move
know.
there tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah. Very, very excited.
Okay, you have to send me the address so I can send you a housewarming present.
Oh yes, I'm gonna have a housewarming. I think it's gonna be in May. I haven't locked on a date yet, but I think it's gonna be early May. So yeah.
I haven't had mine yet. I moved in February. You'll have one eventually.
Yeah. So yeah,
my workspace set up and boxes everywhere else. Like it's fine.
Yeah. But So that's how I am.
Got you. Well, then I will make this quick and to the point and filled with your traditional spunk, because land sakes. Land sakes. Okay. So I will skip through the like intro to Ardent stuff because I know it and I can pull it. But okay, going into 2020, what were your goals? And talk about your refocusing and going from, I think I want to shut this company down, to, having the infrastructure and marketing and being on TikTok. Just walk through all of that.
Yeah. Okay. So starting in 2020, this is actually perfect timing. So basically, in 2019, I kind of was doing everything and not getting really anywhere with anything. And I kind of got fed up with that. Like, the point that I'm just like so busy, so doing everything, but like not really making any progress. And so going into 2020, I was like, I think I'm going to really buckle down and focus. So I gave myself 3 things. I said, you get to do 3 things. Everything else, you have to cut it off. And it kind of worked out because we were in the house. So some things like just naturally ended up getting cut off. So that actually kind of worked out. But the 3 things I chose was Ardent Candle, my YouTube channel, and school. So I said, these three things are my focus. Everything else is gone. So like Enactus, which is an organization on campus, I say, hey guys, I'm not going to be able to participate. And like, because of the pandemic and the university shutting down everything, it made that conversation a lot easier because we already weren't doing much, and then every other like organization or club or thing or commitment that I had, I just like told them like, hey, look, I'm not going to be able to, actively be involved in this any longer, so I can focus, right? So,
And what year are you in school?
I'm a senior now, but yeah. So at that time, I was my last 2020. Yeah, that would have been my last semester, junior year, I believe. And yeah, so I was just like, I just gotta focus. And lo and behold, everything that I focused on started to do well. My schoolwork got better. My YouTube channel grew from, I think, 12,000 subscribers to now 34,000. And then Ardent Candle really started to pick up some traction. So
what was your process on focusing? Like, wait, what did that look like? Like the word focus, okay, what was your strategy?
Oh, yeah. So basically, I was waking up. My goal was to wake up every day and do something to move one of these three things forward. Not all the 20 things that I was doing, move them forward, but just these three things. Do something every single day to move them forward. And so, with my YouTube channel, I said, okay, I'm going to do 2 videos a week. And so it was like, figuring out how am I going to execute that? When am I going to film? When am I going to edit? When am I going to upload them? How am I going to promote the videos? How am I going to, secure brand deals and sponsorships and stuff like that? And so all of that stuff kind of putting together like a little bit of a schedule to be like, all right, my upload days are this day and this day. And whatever I have to do, I'm going to get these videos up on these days. And then from there, it got down to the schoolwork. So I basically looked at all my syllabus and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? What is everything I need to do, and just kind of mentally making myself ready and prepare for the work that I was going to have to do, so that when it got time to doing it, it's like I already knew. Because I feel like before, in semesters before, I was kind of just winging everything, right? Where now it's like, okay, I know what is expected of me from each of these classes, and so that, I don't know, that clarity just like really helped a lot in me knowing like, oh, every Wednesday I have a quiz. Versus me saying, I wonder if I have anything to do, logging into Blackboard. Oh, shoot, I have a quiz due in an hour, And so that really helped. And then with Ardent Candle, so that was probably what took the most work and the most like mental planning, because I basically took January and February of not selling anything, not really doing much, to try to figure out. The biggest thing I had to figure out was, what do people actually want? And so I spent those 2 months doing customer discovery. I went around to every boutique, every shop, every place where I could that sold candles, and I talked to the employees. And I said, what's selling? What's moving off the shelf so fast? What are people looking for? What are people buying? And the big things I realized from going to the stores was the packaging really matters. Like, the packaging is the reason why they pick up the product, right? So that was a big thing. And then I also went online and I looked up a bunch of candle websites, and I looked at the bad reviews, because I knew I could find a problem to solve in the bad reviews. And so lo and behold, majority of the bad reviews were like, this candle smells great, but when I light it, I can't smell it. Or, I have to put my nose right up to it to smell it. Like, if I step 5 feet away, I don't smell it anymore. Meanwhile, my candles, you light them and you can smell them throughout your entire house, And so that's why I realized, like, okay, I have already been solving a problem. I just need to communicate that problem, the solution to that problem, right? And so I took this sales and communication training in March. It was very pricey, but it was so worth it. So it was this training called Guide Culture. So it's sales, persuasion, and communication training. There's an event, but then they also have the labs. So like, you go to the event, it was in Atlanta, and then after that, like, you get on Zooms every week, and you're like practicing, right? So like, you learn these skills and then you actually practice them for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And that really gave me kind of the blueprint of like, how do I communicate in a way that is clear, that is simple, and that people understand. And now it's almost become like a automatic thing, where everything I say, everything I do, when I'm trying to explain something, when I'm trying to tell a story, I'm always thinking in the back of my head, how can I take out words and make this more simple, right? And so that's helped a ton. And so the combination of figuring out what people actually wanted and then figuring out how to communicate it properly, that was just like the recipe for success when it came to me creating Ardent Candle as a brand, right? Then it became, okay, now how am I going to get this out to people? How am I going to figure out how am I going to get Ardent Candle in front of more people? And at the time, I'm like, I don't have money to throw into advertising like crazy. And what I knew was influencers and Instagram. So that's what I did. I just, posted on Instagram. I study like Kylie Jenner and like all these like really successful, popular like makeup companies and stuff on Instagram. So I was very familiar with like what to do, how to execute it and all that kind of stuff. So that's just what I did. I kind of just followed suit for what all the big popular makeup brands do, and that really helped out a lot. And then
What were those things? What were the 3 to 5 key things you noticed they were doing that you replicated?
yeah, okay, so one of the things that is super valuable that I found was posting twice a day. It's definitely a lot. It is very tasking. It is not easy to do at all and stay consistent with it. But if you watch all the really popular and successful makeup brands, that's what they do. They post multiple times a day. And when I watched some interviews from some of their founders, and their philosophy behind doing that was like, look, there's a million brands that these people could buy from. You have to keep reminding them that, hey, I'm here, because there's so much going on their feeds now. 5 years ago, it would have been that's you're being annoying if you're posting 2 times a day. Now you have to do that to even be noticed, And so that was a big thing that really helped out a lot. The other thing was utilizing user-generated content. There's something about when there's a difference when I say this is good versus when 100 different people said this is good. And so you might have saw a post where somebody said, oh my God, this candle is so good, I love it. And then you saw another one where somebody said, oh my God, this candle is the best candle I ever had. And then you saw another one where somebody, and it's not me the one who's saying it, it's these other people who just keep saying, oh my God, this candle is so good. And eventually by the 15th time you saw somebody say this is so great, let me go ahead and buy that candle, And that really helped out a ton. So that was another thing that really helped out. And then the other thing is,
Sorry. How did you get people to post about the product?
So a big part of it was influencers. And then the other thing was just having a really, and this was my other tip that I had, was having a product that stands out. That when people are scrolling through their Instagram stories or scrolling through their Instagram, it makes them stop. And that was where the cereal candles came about, because I was like, I know I can do these crafty, cool candles, but what's like a very simple way that I could do this and something that a lot of people would recognize. And for me, I had the Fruit Loops fragrance already. And I was like, if I make this Fruit Loops candle and I make it actually look like a bowl of Fruit Loops, when you see it, you're going to stop. And that's a big part of a social media brand, is like having a product or something, whether it's the packaging or something that is going to make people stop when they see it. So that was a big part of it, having a quality product and a product that stands out, because once you get your Fruit Loop candle, you want to tell somebody about it, And so that really helped out a lot, because my customers were getting their candles and they're posting about it. They're, putting it on their stories. Some people even posting on their feeds and whatnot. And then the other thing was utilizing influencers, right? So what I would do is I would send out PR, right? I didn't have the money to have an influencer marketing budget, but I can gift influencers free products in hopes that they'll post. They don't have to at all, but especially in the beauty community and in the makeup world, they're very used to getting PR packages, right? They get free makeup from makeup companies all day, and most of them post about it on their stories so that they can keep getting free makeup. And so that's what I did. I know these makeup influencers. I know so many of them now. I've been watching them. I've been studying them. So I would reach out to all types of makeup influencers and say, hey, so-and-so, I am putting together my PR list for February, and I want to know if I can add you to the PR list. If so, let me know where to send you some candles, right? They'll give me their address, like, oh my God, this is so cool. I would send them the candles, and then they would post on their stories while they're showing off their PR from MAC Cosmetics and, Kylie Cosmetics and all these other places. They're like, okay, my next PR package I got is this candle from Ardent Candle. It's so cute, da 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 da. And then I would post there, that on my video, and now you have all these people who keep saying it. The other thing about influencers that was really cool was once I started doing that, once you get if you can, it like the the social status, I would say, of the influencer that you get, it kind of keeps increasing. And like once you get one, like for example, I got this one influencer, he has like 160,000 followers on Instagram. Once I got him, all these other influencers started reaching out to me. Like, oh, if you work with Sam, I want to work with you. You know, if you work with Sally, I want to work with you. If you work with, you know, Kiara, I want to work with you. And so then that just kind of kept happening. And then the influencers I started working with just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that was pretty cool.
Were you paying them once they got to a certain place? Were you paying them, or was it still free?
Yeah, no, it was just gifting. It was just gifting them products. And then every time a new product came out, because that's another part of a social media brand, is that you got to keep giving people reasons to buy. And so every time a new candle come out, which was every other month at the time, now a new candle comes out every month, sometimes twice a month now. But at the time, it was like every other month, something new was going to come out. And I would just send it out to all these influencers that I sent products to. And so over and over and over and over again, these influencers are posting and posting and posting about my products. And it's helping me. I'm getting followers and stuff from when they're, you know, posting and everything, and content, right? So it was wonderful. And then TikTok happened. So January of this year, I saw this girl and she had a course. We're actually friends now, and she was just featured on Forbes, and she's 20 years old. Yeah, crazy, but live. So I found her on TikTok, and I saw she had a course about, you know, it was a business course, but a big part of it was marketing, and so how she uses TikTok and whatnot. And so
TikTok. Sorry. Were you already on TikTok for Ardent, or did you see this because you were on TikTok, just enjoying TikTok as a person?
yeah, I was just on TikTok, and I found her TikTok, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. And at the time, Ardent Candle had a page, but I wasn't using it. I had 18 followers at the time. So I think I had like 2 videos on there. And so I saw she had a course, and something, my gut told me, like, get this course. And it was $50. It was the best $50 I ever spent. And I watched the course, and I said, all right, well, I'm just going to do what she says to do. I'm just going to give it a try and see what happens. And so I did. I posted, one of her things that she says is post 3 TikToks a day. So I did that. I posted 3 TikToks. I went to sleep. The next morning, I had 100 followers, and I did like $300 in sales, or $200 in sales.
And that was day one of you being like active on TikTok.
Yes. Then a couple minutes later, like literally 8 minutes later, I had 250 followers and $300 in sales. And then by the end of that day, I had 32,000 followers and like $3,000 in sales. Right. And then the next day, I ended that next day with 56,000 followers and $12,000 in sales. And it just took off like wildfire. Like it literally, you couldn't even, you couldn't even have predicted that. It was the wildest thing. It was insane. And, yeah, it just keeps growing. And there's definitely so many challenges that I did not expect, could not predict. And then it's also it gets kind of frustrating because like I'll talk to, you know, people who are in business and have been in business for years, and there's a disconnect because never, ever, ever before was it possible for you to double or triple your volume from the month prior in 5 days. That never ever. Like, no, it never happens. And so it's such an unknown territory that it's just like you bumping your head to try to figure it out. So yeah, it's been really crazy, really wild.
Talk about some of those struggles, and then talk about interactions with the business community and more established entrepreneurs. But first talk about the struggles and like how does the infrastructure and operations look from going to, you know, selling a couple candles to selling thousands?
Yeah. So one of the big mistakes, I guess you could say, is so I was making the candle. So my candle company is growing rapidly. And so I was making candles in the garage. Well, now there's not enough room in the garage. So now I took over my mom's garage and living room. Like we literally moved the furniture out of the living room. It turned into a whole shipping station. It was really crazy. So one of the funny mistakes that I made was I ordered a whole bunch of shipping supplies from Uline, and you know, on the computer screen it's just a bunch of buttons, and so I'm like, okay, cool. So I get a call from Estes, and they're like, hey, we have a delivery for you. Like, coming to, they said my address, and I'm like, okay, cool. And so I hang up, and I didn't know I didn't know that I needed to be there for the delivery. And so they call me back and they're like, hey, we tried to drop off a delivery to, this address and no one was there. And I was like, why didn't you just drop it off? Like any other package, they just drop it off at the door. And he's like, yeah, well, we need somebody to be here. So we can come back around in like 2 hours, whatever. So I said, okay, I'll be home. I get home, this big tractor trailer pulls up in front of my house, dropped 3 pallets off at my door. They don't even fit in the house. And it was like, you couldn't even, it was the wildest thing. I had no clue. I felt so dumb. The guy was like, yeah, did you order this stuff? I said, yeah, but on the computer, it was just a couple buttons. I didn't really realize that like this literally can't even fit on a mail truck, And yeah, so that was so funny. Another really, really frustrating situation that I had to deal with was, so I placed 1,000 candles for pre-orders in February, right? And I had ordered all the supplies to be able to make those candles. They were on the way, except for the glass, right? Well, I was supposed to get the glass. I ordered the glass February 1st. I still never got the glass. And so the place that I bought it from, they were like, oh, the people who shipped this glass is from a third-party supplier, and they didn't have enough to fulfill your order. And so we're like, okay, well, can you at least tell them send what they have and then refund me for the rest of the order? Like, no, we can't do that. We just give them some time. We'll see if whatever. It's been 3 months now, and I still don't have the glass or my money back. So that's been very stressful. But so then I'm trying to find the glass other places. There's a point in time where I'm literally driving around to like grocery stores to get as many of these glasses that I can, just because I need to get these orders out. Like I got like 400 people bought candles that I need to get out, So that was very stressful. And then I had to keep calling around and figuring out like, where can I get this glass? Finally, I got in touch with the manufacturer of this glassware that the cereal candles come in. And so we were able to set up a wholesale account and everything. And I ordered 6 pallets of glass, and that all came. And so finally, 2 months later, or a month later, I have glass finally. And so now I'm like a whole month behind in production. These people are like, a lot of people were very forgiving because it just happened so fast, and it was very much like unexpected. And I was very clear on what was going on. Like they knew what was going on. Like this glass didn't show up, And so finally the glass gets here, and come to find out there's a shortage of glass in the country. So it's not just like me. My other candles, all my original candles, that glass is all sold out of the country. Nobody has those jars. We have to wait till I think the end of April to get them. All that has been crazy. And that's just mainly due to COVID, because majority of glass is produced in China, and China's so backed up.
Plus the Suez Canal was blocked for 10 days.
Yeah, so it's like a whole fiasco that I couldn't, like I said, couldn't have predicted that, And then so finally the glass comes, and I didn't know that I had to request them to put a pallet jack on the truck. So we had to hand unload 6,000 jars off the truck because the guy didn't have a pallet jack. And literally, this stuff you can't even make. There was no way in a million years I could have predicted any of this was going to happen, And so that was very stressful. Another thing really quick is the whole Kellogg situation. So I tried to get a license deal with Kellogg to license the rights to, Kellogg, so I could use Fruit Loops and everything, and like really be it could be like a Kellogg's partner product, right? So had a phone call with Kellogg's. They were so excited. They were so down. They're like, oh my God, this is so great. We love it. All that kind of stuff. There's so much potential for this. Another call with Kellogg's. They're like, yeah, we, if you guys want to get into big box retailers one day, like we have all them on speed dial. We can make those introductions for you. This has a lot of potential. I'm so excited. Like, I'm like, freaking Kellogg's wants to partner with me. Like, what the heck? It was going to be a royalty deal, but like having Kellogg's on my side as like my partner, like that was going to be worth whatever royalty they wanted, as long as it was still profitable, Mm-hmm. And then it would have gave me so much leverage going into other licensing deals and brand partnerships and whatnot. So I was so excited. And then the third call with Kellogg's, they say, All right, so we were so excited about this whole partnership and whatever, but our last check was with our legal team, and they said that this is not going to work out because we can't take on the liability of a candle. And so it was like somebody took my heart out of my chest, you know? Because here I am so pumped, like we're finally on our last call, like we're about to wrap this thing up, and I'm about to be like, and they even told me, they were like, yeah, the company that produces our cereal box, like we can have them produce a box for your candle. So it literally looks like a Kellogg's product. Like it was so exciting. And then it was just like, oh. So yeah, so that was a tough day. Some sad news, but yeah, once again, things that you just couldn't have, you know, I was not prepared for any of this. But you know, you figure it out and keep moving, dust your shoulders off, and you know, wipe your tears and you kind of just keep chugging along.
So how does that work from a legal standpoint?
With the whole Kellogg's thing?
Yes, with fruit, since you're using
Oh,
Fruit Loops.
oh yeah. So they said, you know, keep doing what you're doing. It's great. We love it. They're like, you know, there are so many knockoff Fruit Loop products, not even just, you know, there's other cereals that are knockoffs on the shelves. They're like, as long as you don't cross any trademark lines, you are good to keep going, keep doing what you're doing. So like for me right now, my candle, it's not spelled properly. Like, so I spell Fruit Loops the actual way you spell fruit, where the cereal is Froot. So because I don't spell it like that, I'm fine. I'm clear of any of those trademark issues or whatever. They're like, as long as you don't cross any lines, you don't put Kellogg's in any of your marketing or anything like that. So like I did have pictures where like there was a box of cereal behind the candle. I had to take those down or whatever. But they're like, otherwise, we're proud of you. Like, this is so awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. So that was good. And then they gave me the contacts to General Mills. So I'm gonna have the call with them next. They said they'll probably say the same thing, but you know, it's worth a shot. So so we'll see. But yeah. So luckily they're like very supportive, and they're like, look, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. And I feel like I have this feeling they're gonna come back around. I really feel like they're gonna come back around and say, hey, we want a piece of this, you know? But we'll see.
Got you. Oh goodness, that's a lot.
Yes.
That's quite a roller coaster on loops.
Yeah, and this is why I want to have a show, because I'm like, all this stuff that happens behind the scenes is just so crazy.
Yes, yeah. No one in your wildest dreams imagines unloading 6,000 glass bottles out of a truck. Like, no, you can't make it up. But it makes for
Right?
TV. It makes for great TV.
Yeah.
So question for you to give like a breakdown on the timeline. So when did you see her take the class, start posting on TikTok to today, like just line item timeline?
Gotcha. So January 25th was the day. January 24th and 25th, that was a Saturday and Sunday. Those were the days that I took the course. The 26th was, or I'm sorry, yeah, the 25th, the night of the 25th was when I made the 3 TikToks, posted them. And then the morning of the 26th, that was when everything just started to take off, and it just kept going and going and going and going and going.
And how much total did you make in that week with TikTok alone?
So well, it was just 2 days, and then everything was sold out, and that was $12,000. It was $3,000 on the first day, $8,000 on the second day,
Gotcha.
and then everything was out.
So how are you? Are you still taking orders? Do you have people who want to pre-order? How is that looking to continue to?
Yeah. So at this point, it's so, and this was where I was having some frustrations talking with like older people who are in business and whatnot, you know, because they're telling me like, you know, so January 27th, everything was sold out, $12,000 for the month, crazy. And then February came around. February 1st, I did pre-orders for 1,000 candles. Half of them sold on the first day. The $15,000 on February 1st. Yeah, it was crazy. And then the rest trickled throughout the rest of the month. So it was about $2,000 a day, and then it went down to $1,000 a day. And then some days it was like a little bit lower, a little bit higher. But by the end of the month, I had sold all those candles. It was $34,000 for the month of February, right? And that was 1,000 candles, right? And this is where I was having some frustration because, March comes around and I do Lucky Charms comes out, and I also in the restock, and I had 3,000 candles that was for that restock, and those are pre-orders, but I didn't list them as pre-orders because I thought I was going to have my glass in time, and I didn't. And so that was another headache because I literally got 700 emails, DMs, message. It was probably altogether, probably 2,000 to 3,000 messages altogether, but I know specifically there was 700 emails of people asking, where's my candles? Because I didn't say it was a pre-order because I didn't think it was going to have to be a pre-order timing. So for this April restock, everything is going to be pre-orders because that was another challenge. It was like keeping up with it. One of the business guys I was talking to, I told him, I said, I sold out on March 5th. If I could have kept going, I probably would have did 300 grand in March, but I sold out by the 5th. And they're like, oh, so you got to do some better projections and like this and that. And I'm like, I understand your old understanding of projection. And yes, that's great. But I did projections and they were very ambitious. They were to triple my last month. I did 1,000 candles in February. My goal is to do 3,000 in March. Does that sound like a good projection? He said, yeah, that's good. So for me to sell those in 5 days, it literally doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, how I can't I wasn't going to project to, 10x my month. That's unrealistic, I mean, I guess not anymore now, but at the time, like, how could I even, look, I had very ambitious projections, okay? And they all went in 5 days. So that's been like a tough thing because every time I tell somebody like, yeah, I had this many candles, but they sold in 5 days, they're like, oh, you got to do bigger, you got to do better. And I'm like, you don't understand.
You don't understand what's going on. I wasn't expecting this.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's been. I'm sorry. What was the original question? I just forgot what it was.
Oh no, you've answered that. I have another question.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Real quick, but is it still just you making the candles?
No. So what? So I brought in a partner back in February.
What did that process look like?
So basically, while all this stuff was taking off, I was at Gather in Virginia Beach, which is a co-working space. And so in there's very much this culture of like, everybody feels like I'm their little brother and like everybody kind of looks out for me because I'm the youngest person in there, but everybody has a business, everybody's successful, everybody's doing their thing that's in there. So everybody helped me out so much, but there was this one guy in particular, Steve, who helped me out a ton because he was just like so excited for me, so he helped me out so much, just like completely for free, giving me advice, how to do like what you should do. Like, this is the next step I would take if I was in your position or whatever. And so he was helping me out a lot and throughout this whole thing. And so I got to a point where it was like mid-February and I sat him down. I was like, how do I get you to keep helping me like this? Because he was like hands on for like, he wasn't making candles or anything, but like every single day he was like, how'd this go? How's that going? Here's what you should do. Oh, consider this. Don't forget about this. Oh, I know somebody who can help you with this. Let me call them, like very much that. I was like, how do I get you to keep helping me do this? And so we sat down, we talked about it. And so what we ended up agreeing on, we haven't got all the like official paperwork and everything done yet, but we're going to figure out what the valuation of Ardent Candle was at the end of January. He's going to buy 10% of it from me. And then with the option to buy up to 20 over time. And so, yeah, so he has been helping me out a ton. Like, he set up the phone call with Kellogg's licensing. He also like is a crazy negotiator. Me, I'm like, I'll take whatever you give me. He will argue you down to the last dime, And so like he was able to cut my costs to make my candles from $9 to like $5.50. And yeah, so, and then it's crazy because it's like, okay, we cut about $4 times thousands of candles. Like, it's crazy how much of a difference like that makes. And so, yeah, so he has helped out a ton. So he's been helping me out. And then my mom, sister, stepdad, all my family is like super hands-on. My sister actually took over the customer service because me doing all the stuff that I'm already doing, I wasn't getting back to emails, that people were getting really frustrated because like they weren't getting their emails back in time and all that kind of stuff. But so yeah, so that's from that process. And then now I have an intern who started yesterday. And yeah, so I have to like do this training or whatever tomorrow. And then so yeah, so then that'll be some potentially some, I think they have to assess the warehouse now. And I think the only thing that might I think the only reason why it might not go to, like, they might not approve of like them working with me is because since I'm at the 757 Makerspace, they do tours every Wednesday and Friday. And so I don't know. I think that might be the thing that they're like, this spot is not going to work. So yeah, but that nonetheless, that kind of working on that. But then also too, within the next week or two, getting more people in here. So one of the reasons why we kind of been holding off is, one, getting the processes down so that like we're not paying people and they're not doing anything. You know, so like getting a process down so that there's always something, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing at all times. And then the other thing too is getting more space, because right now it's like super crammed up, and like while more people would help, there's not even enough space for more help. So we're about to get basically the entire wall that I'm on in the warehouse at the makerspace, and so that's going to be open up room for us to actually have people to come in and help and not be tripping and bumping over each other. So yeah, so getting that stuff all done, hopefully within the end of this week or next week, and then hiring some people next week to really get the production up.
If someone was, say, listening to this interview or reading this interview and are going, I would love to work for you, where should they go? Who should they talk to?
Yeah, so they can send an email to support@ardentcandle.com. And yeah, that's our customer service email. My sister will get it, and then she'll forward it to me, and then yeah, and then we can talk about that.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the only requirement is be able to lift heavy things, because some things are pretty heavy in here.
Got you.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, but yeah, if anybody is listening or interested, support@ardentcandle.com.
Okay. I will make a note of that for them. And then just a few final questions. Do you plan on staying in Hampton Roads?
Yes, actually. So before, I wanted to move to California. I wanted to move to Los Angeles. I thought I was moving to Los Angeles by the end of this year, but obviously things have changed. One of the things being, I have a lot of friends that live there now, and they're actually leaving there because the pandemic made LA not LA anymore. There's so many things like, I have a friend, she just moved back from Texas because she's like, the homelessness is insane now. The crime rate went up 600% in LA. She's like, I pay a premium to live in a very nice neighborhood, and now it's not even safe out here. Like, she's like, the other day, some guy got shot so that the people could steal his dog to sell his dog. Like, she's like, it's not, I don't recommend. She's like, I'm getting out of here. And so she went back home to Texas, and she said, maybe one day I might come back to LA. And she's an artist. So, before the pandemic, it was super beneficial for her to be in LA, because she's like, there's so many other creatives out here. I was performing every weekend at somewhere, I was bumping into celebrities on accident, like all these great things that made being in LA worth being there. And she's like, now all that stuff is gone. And there's like, I'm trying to find reasons to stay, and I just can't. And so, yeah, so she just left LA. And so there was that. And then also too, like, the taxes in LA for small businesses are horrendous. And there was just so many, like, if I was to move to LA, it would literally be making my life harder in every single way. Just to say I'm in LA and to have palm trees and sunny weather, And I was like, well, I really do like Virginia Beach specifically. I don't mind staying here. And now, that I have a full-time job here with my business, it's like, yeah, I can stay here for a bit longer, maybe even for a lot longer. I don't know. But as of right now, yeah, I do plan on staying here for at least another 3 years.
Got you. And then my final question, what if someone was coming to you and going, I want to start a D2C company, what would you suggest to them for getting started, for planning on this, for going viral on TikTok or not going viral on TikTok?
Yeah. So, but the first thing I would do is try to find find a problem to solve, or some way to do something that people actually want, and do it in a really cool way. And then the other thing that is so important, for a direct-to-consumer brand on social media is to make that product stand out in some way, shape, or form. Then from there, I would say this is something that I've been telling a lot of people recently who have been asking me about TikTok and all that kind of stuff, is like figure out, like, there's like product market fit, but there's also product market founder fit. And some people hate being on camera. You would not be good on TikTok, or you might not be comfortable. You might create a business for yourself that, like, you don't like. It's not fulfilling for you because I don't like being on camera, and there's different ways that you can do TikTok and never show your face and still do really well. But you have to kind of figure that stuff out for yourself. Me personally, I love being on camera, and so this just worked out amazing for me, where, if you don't like being on camera, then, there are other ways to kind of move around that. But what can happen, especially because TikTok is so wild and it can grow so quickly, is you can end up putting yourself in a position where you're like, I don't like this. I don't want to keep doing this, but this is what's working. And so, that's always tricky. But I always recommend people now to, like, really think about, like, what do you want your role to be in your business? Because that is, like, you want to build a business that you enjoy, and not necessarily a business that makes you want to quit every single day because you hate what you have to do to make it go. But yeah, and then if you do want to, and then the other thing that I would do is, like, especially if you do want to go the TikTok route and build a business, start looking at businesses on TikTok. Like, you can look at mine. There's also my friend Liv that was mentioned earlier. Her handle is ceo.liv, Liv. Watch our videos. And if you find any other small businesses that are really killing it on TikTok, watch their videos, especially their videos that are really popular, and just, like, binge them. You'll start to get a feel of, like, what works, how to make a video, how you should format your video, like different video ideas you can do and whatnot. And then just start, like, just make one. My first TikTok sucks. It's terrible. But if I didn't make those first three, like, I wouldn't be here. So yeah, that would be the next thing, is just get started.
Got you. Well, thank you so much, Koby, for doing this. I know you're insanely busy, and tomorrow's going to be insanely busy. I'll let you know when it goes live, and the next issue of Startup Goodness comes out this Thursday at noon.
Awesome. Yes, no problem. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Talk to you later.
All right, cool. See you. Bye.